Welcome to Stephanie's Company. I am your host, Stephanie. I would like to introduce our guests. We have Miss Antone Chambers, Rutgers grad of 2017, communications major, minor in business. Currently, Antone is working for Emmy Award winner Damian Escobar under the LC Entertainment brand. She's also the road manager for LCM Entertainment, Mappy, who is a hip-hop, soca, reggae violinist. Welcome, Antone. Our next guest is RJ Gourdine, as we call him Jamaal. Jamaal currently goes to Essex County College, majoring in psychology, substitute teacher at Lincoln School, has a nonprofit organization called Jam Pro, and he recently opened his new restaurant, where if you know about New York, you know about the famous Stewart restaurant, his new restaurant called Betty Lee Jean's Kitchen, and we'll hear more about his adventures later on in the program. Give it up for Jamaal. And our final guest is Imani Cortez, 2017 graduate of Kean University, marketing major. Imani is one of the co-founders of the Ivy Push Agency. She's also a visual artist who has a phenomenal show that's coming up called Color, Energy, and Light, what is happening this Friday at the Tabula Rasa Gallery in Rahway, New Jersey. So give it up for my guest. So here we go. I had asked for all your parents and guardians to send me baby pictures of you. So they, yeah, I did. No, see, psych. I wanted to see your face.
Oh, you see, I looked at it like.
To show where you were. Because one thing all three of you guys have in common, you all kind of grew up together because you all went to Union Chapel AME Church. So let's start off about that. Growing up in Union Chapel, YPD, activities.
Everyone there is kind of like family to somebody else. So I think that with that being said, it was like a strong support system that like Miss Annette, Antone's mom, knows my grandma, you know what I'm saying, since we were young. So that helped out a lot, I think.
I think that in addition to that, working with the youth at Union Chapel, being one of the youth to begin with growing up, has definitely prompted me to realize that my passion is working with youth, you know, providing them with different experiences that they might not be able to get or gain if they were to just go through the public school system. Offering them opportunities with after school, offering them opportunities outside of the home, traveling across the country, across really the globe, working with youth. It's been a passion, and it started right at Union Chapel.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the both of them. I would say definitely a family for me. You always have, I have my friends like since day one, you know, my millennial terms, who I can always call for anything. We don't have to talk every day, but there's always just that bond. Also, they kept us busy being in the YPD dance ministry, usher board, Lord knows what else, sorry. But seriously, just being in everything, we were always put to work and just always given that work ethic and just keep going, keep always doing something, be involved in your community, and I think that just stuck with each of us as we grew up.
Growing up in Union Chapel, and I have seen you grow since your guys were little, since y'all were eating pie eating contests at a YPD snack sleepover, and just watching all three of you grow. We talk about millennials, and you guys are millennials. And one thing we, Generation X, and millennials, we get the back and forth. One stating that, you know, the description that you get, not loyal, always changing, always want something in an instant and not working hard for it. Being millennials and people feel that way, as millennials, what would you say to people?
Their perception isn't completely wrong. We do like instant gratification. We do like to move around, but I think that's just like the age that we grow up in. Everything moves like that. We are on social media where you can see everything at one time, so we always want things constantly, and I think that I don't necessarily think that all of those things are bad things. I think that they can have like negative connotations, like we don't stay at jobs for long and things like that. But I think that you have to move around in order to progress, so I wouldn't say that those things are all wrong.
We're basically doing what we want to do independently, but also knowing who to call when we do get stuck. We shouldn't think that we know everything. I know that's definitely hard for me sometimes. However, just to know how to sit back and say, okay, you know what? I can't do this, I can't do that, but let me call on somebody. Because if I want it right away, I have to be the one to make the decision to make it happen right away.
The world is evolving though, and so we must evolve with this. I would say don't doubt us. You know, we have great ideas, and don't, you know, overlook them. I would say be inclusive, look to the ideas of the young people, and then take what you already know and combine them. And that's just how the world can grow and move forward. And yeah.
So, what is a day in the life of Antone, Jamaal, or Imani?
My day probably starts off very lazy. I don't want to do much, but
Okay. Okay.
I'll definitely say, you know, when we graduated from high school, I thought I was done waking up early in the morning. To be at school at 8:20, to wake up to be at school at 8:20, those days are over. I thought, but then I had to realize I might have a 9:30 class. I still need to have that work ethic, that mentality. Okay, I need to wake up early because waking up early gets me off to a great start. I can get more things accomplished. I say about noon, I start remembering that I didn't eat breakfast like I did in school. So I start to try to remember to eat something, and then I'll say, recently now, especially with working with the restaurant, I'll say that I conclude my day really strong, putting in late night hours. I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is probably the reason why I'm not waking up early in the morning. But when you put everything together, when you really look at my schedule, I think that I've learned how to make sacrifices and realizing that I can't do everything in a day. And that's why I make the best of what I can, and then if I can't, realize that tomorrow, sometimes things just have to wait for tomorrow.
It varies what day it is, to be honest, what week it is, what month it is, and who I'm working with. But try just a routine that I try and keep, especially because I do travel a bit. Wake up in the morning, shower, brush my teeth, get dressed. Sorry. And then I try and do meditating. So I read these 2 books. One is called Pause. It's just making time to walk with God. And the other one is called Prayers for Anxious Heart. I like to be in tune with like the universe, my spirituality, and God, and just what things connect for you. But then I'll meditate on that, analyze them in my book every day. And that kind of just keeps me grounded. So I'm like, okay, now I can be, do my thing. At some point, I need to go to the gym, and this isn't me working, but this is just personally, Antone has to do this, and some type of meal prep. So then I start the day with answering emails. This is either for Mappy or Damien. Updating master tour, that's just like the tour stuff for the band, so if they're going on tour, they know exactly when their flights are, hotels, hospitality, things like that. I'm probably on Instagram, not like, well, I do, scrolling stuff, but, I have to promote myself, because I am her manager, and social media is very prominent in the industry. And then also on the label's Instagram, I'll be on there.
I wake up in the morning, I pray, and then I get ready to go to work. I go to work, I'm there from 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. After work, I usually will go to my friend's studio in Roselle, because I like to be around like other creatives just to get some sort of inspiration for stuff. Once I leave there, I'll probably go home and I paint a lot of the times, or I'm working on a commission. And I'm pretty much doing that for the remainder of the night, and I don't really go to sleep too early. I'm up until about 2 a.m. a lot of the times. So
I applaud you guys. You still make a commitment to your church. What is your aspect on friendship?
You want to go? Okay, I'll go first. I'm sorry, I should have thought about this first. But I would say friends are very, very important. Your true friends, like people who have your back, because you just never know, not like they'll save you from something, but just how they'll help you out. And I don't think my friends realize a lot of times how they help me out, whether it's just seeing what they do. Like I always see Jamaal doing 1,000 things, both of them actually, and they inspire me so much just because they do what they got to do every day. They follow routine, they stick to what they say. And then they still keep in touch with me and make sure I'm okay. They still shout me out or, encourage me. And I try and do the same with them. So you have to be a good friend to others.
Yes.
And that just helps your soul in general. 2 things I would say about who you keep around you. 1, watch who you keep around you, because everyone's not your friend. Like they said in the last episode, you have to...
Did I get a clap back there?
But you just have to kind of watch how people move and what their intentions are, because you don't know, but they will show you. But the other thing I would say about friends and company you keep, and I'm sure we've all heard this phrase, I never want to be the smartest person in the room. I always want someone who's doing better than me, who could teach me something. And even my friends, like I want to learn from them and also eventually have them learn from me.
Late at night where I'm up, I might be working on a new idea. I might think that I heard something and I'm saying, oh, this is a good idea, let me see how this sounds. That person I can call on, I'm not ashamed. I'll call on Antone, I'll text Antone, I'll text Imani. Okay. Because we need that. That's a support system that you have at the midnight hour when you feel like you're alone in your own little bubble. Yeah. Sometimes it's just to vent, but you can't vent to everyone. Sometimes it's just to talk, see how they're doing. a lot of the times I don't think someone's thinking about me, and it seems like just when I think no one's thinking about me, someone randomly texts me, oh wow. It's like the friends I have, I'm glad I don't have to hit them up every day, but they know I care.
Okay.
And when I need the most, they make themselves available for me.
No, I completely agree with both of them, especially what Jamaal just said. Like, honestly, the friends that I feel like I can really, like, talk to, I might not talk to them every single day, you know what I mean? But I know that they're there, and I know that they support me with everything. And also, I just really look at, like, what people are doing in their lives. Like, I don't want any friends that are okay with being complacent or stagnant. I don't want friends that don't have any goals for doing anything, because then that sets you back, and I don't have time for that. So
I see some people IGs and Facebook out of hand.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not throwing no shade, but I just want to know how do you guys make sure, you know, about how your page represent you, keeping it right, and keeping it professional. I want clean, yes.
Certain things should be kept private. Not everything's for the world. And you just have to have some type of standard, I feel like, for yourself. And then the other thing is now I made my page public because I wanted to make it a business page, you know, as a manager. So definitely that, I watch what I post, you know, even certain, I don't know, workout videos, I just make sure I'm dressed appropriately, you know. Okay. Yes.
Imani?
I'm a free spirit. But no, I just keep it to a T, I guess.
But she has a good page.
Yeah, my page is all my art, but some people will look at my art and be like, so yeah, that's why it's just, I don't know. I don't post anything disrespectful or like distasteful.
I'm learning how to not even like certain posts. I think that the most I could say about social media is, especially like, you know, working for someone, doing something with other people, when you're building your own brand, something that no one's ever heard of, the constant reminder is you are your brand. You are the face. I am the face of Betty Lee Jean's Kitchen. You know, if I'm posting up something, if I'm doing this or I'm doing that, if I'm going to this party or that party, at the end of the day, no matter even if I go, what I post or what, you know, what people can, or what I allow people to post for me, are things that I have to take into account, because I am building a brand for myself, a name for myself. You know, RJ Gourdine. Who is RJ Gourdine? You know, Jamaal was I say this many times, just had a conversation. Jamaal was the person who possibly didn't do homework in school. Jamaal was the person who got in trouble, you know. But when you say, okay, I'm going to reinvent myself because that's not who I am, that was my story. I'm going towards something even bigger, something even better. How am I going to set myself apart? Yeah. That's what I've learned how to do. Okay. And still learning.
And still, every day, I think every day you keep learning. Yeah. You know? So my question is, you guys are really doing amazing things out there. We're going to talk about your companies, your nonprofits, your artists that you're working with. And we're going to start with Imani. You know, if everybody see anything for IV4, the Stephanie's company, that beautiful pink logo with the couch made, and it says, "Who's next on my couch?" Cortez of the Ivy Push Agency created that logo for me. And I went to her because, you know, sometimes we try to look outside, and we have a lot of creative people in our own. CEO, co-founder of Ivy Push. You also are a visual artist. You have a show coming up on September the 28th, 7 to 11, in Broadway at the
Tabula Rasa Gallery.
Let's talk a little bit about Imani and her new adventures going on. You want to talk about how did Ivy Push come to fruition?
So when I was younger, I always did like arts and crafts type stuff. Like my parents would buy, you know, those little bead things. You make your own necklaces and jewelry and stuff. So I would always do stuff like that. And then my grandpa was a painter. He painted houses. My dad, when I was 17, I had a show at Galleria Faro, and that work went into the North Museum. Wow. And then I kind of stopped for a bit, and then my best friend encouraged me to get back into it because I was just like in a really sad state, and he's for art. That's how I started with that. And then Ivy Push, my best friend and I started Ivy Push because we both went to Kane. She went for management, and I went for marketing. And we were like, we're not meant to like work for somebody else. We really didn't want to, even though we know like we had to for the time being, but we wanted to start up something. So we had a few friends who were like creatives and into doing different things, and we had picked up a few clients, and we decided that we were going to start a brand management business. And then we started with our like most important client is Chef Corey. I don't know if some of you guys know him. He's a personal chef. We booked him with a deal to be a personal chef with Safari.
Okay.
And then from there, he got a deal with Joe Budden. And then from now, just last week, he signed with Kyrie Irving.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've been doing that, just helping him out with certain things.
So that's amazing. It's amazing. And sir, Mr. Jamaal, jam go. Every time with Jamaal, his mind goes boom, and he's on target. And he had a nonprofit organization called Jam Go. I want him to talk a little bit more about that. And as I stated in my beginning of the show, Jamaal just opened up his first restaurant in Newark, New Jersey. So Jamaal,
I would say my journey started when I was younger. I was always active. I would say let's go back to 2002, and very involved in my after-school program. The after-school program I was a part of was the Yeet. I'm pretty sure we all came into Union Chapel at some point through the Union Chapel Community Development Corporation's after-school program, and we went on field trips. We did arts and crafts, arts and crafts that I had never even thought of doing like in school. I never had that opportunity. And then I would say the next after-school program I was a part of, I didn't get really into until 2011 when I was in high school. I was a student at the Marion Bolden Student Center, and I had arts and crafts. I had a event production workshop that I was in, and I was in the theater program with the late Rodney Gilbert. So when you talk about working with Mike It Up and Miss Susu Stewart, you had those things that were more in tune with event production. That's always been I was always doing some type of public speaking. That was definitely where I was able to do that, as well as learn what the business was behind it. When I graduated from high school, I was no longer able to participate in the program. So my first thought was, okay, this was a great program for kids. How can I do something like it? So it actually started with my first Rock the Stage, my first Rock the Mic, which was just a talent show. I was getting people in from the Student Center to come perform, and then it just evolved. I said, all right, this is great. What if we had an after-school program that had all of that stuff in it? I want to have some culinary arts. I want to have performing arts. I want to have visual arts. How can we do this all? I was bored and I was jobless, and someone offered me an opportunity to come on board with it with Focus. And that's after working with them. I said, yeah, I'm going to do my own thing now. And that's how Jam Go. I took my name, Jamaal Gourdine, and made Jam Go.
And you have your model behind Jam Go.
Yes. Jam Go, and really just my life. When it comes to like all my social media, I can, I must, I will. If there is something I can do to make the world a better place, then I must. If I must, then I will. I can, I must, I will. When you start talking about rebranding yourself and what you want to do with the rest of your life, knowing that you want to work for yourself. You would rather work for yourself and realize you can give yourself your all. Who would fight for you more than yourself? Realizing that youth don't have that voice. That's the inspiration behind Jam Go. And then this latest venture with Betty Lee Jean's Kitchen, it brings it all home. It gives a chance for the community to come. It's Betty Lee Jean's Kitchen, home of RJ's Place, where you have that venue where people can come, similar to this, have showcases, have talent, have interviews talking about, okay, what struggle did you go through? How did you persevere through them, and what are you trying to do now? Nonprofits are here but gone tomorrow if they don't have the funding that they need. So Betty Lee Jean's Kitchen was definitely my way of creating that, or trying to create that fiscal sponsor for myself, a for-profit sponsoring a nonprofit, doing works that we need in the community that we definitely don't see being done, or if we do see them being done, is little to none because of the lack of funding.
And you're also going to have some soul food.
Yes, soul food. Why not? I mean, if not, I think that this is definitely an opportunity for us to come together as a people, one with one another. We are definitely, I think we are gold mines if we just unlock our own potential, and it's within us. My mom had me listening to the Akil and the Big. When our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate; it's our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. When I really personalize that and bring it home. As
you said before, you travel over, working with Damien Escobar. Now, one of his clients, Mappy, road manager for her, setting up stylists, traveling, making sure she's okay. How do you do it?
Most definitely my mama.
Yeah.
She knows, like, I probably talk to her every day. I'm like, I need your opinion on this. I don't have, like, simple things. I don't have Microsoft Word on my computer. So if I have to change the document, I have to write a contract. She hasn't. She just takes the time out her day at work, and she does it for me. And just all of my family and friends who just like support me and say, "Oh, keep going. How's work going?" Even my dad tells me, "Oh, you need to like." Because at one point I wasn't getting paid, and he's like, "Well, you need to quit that job. You need to do more." So they just motivate me. Oh, and my granny too.
I saw her peek like, hello.
Yeah, no, because she just keeps my energy right, to be honest, and she's done that for a while. Because if I'm arguing with somebody, even my mama, I have to call her like, I just need to vent to you, and she just talks to me, her sweet little self, and her her old sayings that help and stuff.
What inspires you? What keeps you going every day?
I like to say stay PQ'd, which is patient, positive, and persistent at whatever you're doing. Because sometimes, like, I get even frustrated within myself thinking, like, that I'm supposed to be at a certain place. Wherever you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be in life. And when God's ready to move you to the next step, you'll get moved there. And Antone actually taught me that, because she said one time, if you're not where you think you're supposed to be at, it's because you didn't do enough work in what you're supposed to be doing. Like, you're not prepared to move on yet. So that's sometimes why you're still in the same place. So you just have to be patient and work at whatever you're doing. And then the other thing I would say is just listen to your parents or your grandparents. Nanny, you be right. A lot of times, like, we don't like to listen because we think we know everything. And then as I got older, like, I realized you don't really know anything at all. And a lot of the times your parents or whoever was telling you something were right about it.
That's big. That is really big, because sometimes I think we forget, some young people forget that our parents were young too. One thing I would tell my kids, I was young too. Don't play me, because I know I've been there, done that. I'm just older than your mom, but it's good to hear you say that.
I think it's something that they both already mentioned. You hear the quote I live by, but I think that it's more so, I'm learning how to lean, working with youth. Don't be scared to ask for help. I find myself definitely skipping a generation. For some strange reason, I definitely go to my grandmothers more. It's something about that old school, that spirit that they bring you. It humbles you.
We're going to ask the audience if they have a question for our guests.
How do you go about getting funding for your nonprofit?
Go to those grant writing workshops, or even when it came to talking to different people who were in nonprofits to figuring out who their funding sources were, learning what options there are in the city with the different grants that the cities have, and then learning how to also partner with other nonprofits to be your fiscal sponsor, where people aren't scared to donate because they know they can write that off later on. Knowing all the resources, that's how I was able to make it happen.
Any other questions for our guests? Right here on this side, right behind you.
So, I have two questions. First of all, I hear you talking about expanding where you are and growing. Do you each have a 5-year plan as to where you're going to see yourself in 5 years? And if so, what does that plan look like? And the second one is, we all need mentors. You need a spiritual mentor, a business mentor. Do you develop those relationships? And if so, how has it helped you get to where you are today?
Do not follow my example. I do not have an exact 5-year plan. I'll tell you a quick thing about how I got my job. What did I do? I was leaving class. There was a networking event. I hadn't gone to any networking events. This was December of my graduating year, and I didn't know what I was going to do after college. So I went to the networking event. The one person I talked to happened to be the best friend of the manager of Damien, so that's how I got hooked up with that. Hooked up is bad, but connected. Yeah, because I was persistent. I said, are we going to interview, blah, blah, blah. And I was just so persistent that they said, yeah, we'll take you on. So then I was just an intern. Continue working and building with the team, became Damien's personal assistant. And I think I can kind of answer two questions in one, because being Damien's personal assistant and then his manager's assistant at the same time, one, I became very close with them. They do consider me family at this point. And they are my mentors. Like, Damien's like, I see greatness in you and I want to push you forward. I want to take you here. I want your brand to build. And so has Rodney. Rodney has worked with a lot of major artists. He used to manage Chrisette Michelle, for a familiar name. And so he just, literally, they teach me everything they know. And Damien always says, oh, I need you at this meeting, whatever ventures I'm doing, I want you a part of it. Spiritual mentor, definitely got Reverend Mitchell.
And he's here, our pastor.
Yeah. And my mom, oh my God, and my dad. Okay, so my dad, one thing he taught me when I was younger, I wanted a prom dress. And it was a little expensive. And I said, I need $100. He said, I'll give you $100 if you read this whole book. It was the Law of Attraction. And for him to just, push me like that, and the law of attraction is basically whatever energy you're putting out there, that's what you're inviting in. You're putting out positive things and increase and success, that's what you're going to get back.
Okay.
Even what you say. And we were talking about that the other day with some friends. Just what you say, you're putting that out into the universe. You're inviting it too. So if you put something negative, that's going to happen. I'm sorry, I got a little... Oh, but these are my spiritual advisors. And then my 5-year plan, I don't have the exact words written out for it, but I'll tell you in a gist. I want to be the go-to person. I want, not an it girl, but just who you go to, who makes things happen. I want to know each person in every industry, and I want to be able to connect you. I want to be that person who, if you need something done, give me your vision, I'll make it come to life. And right now I'm just building that network, because your network is your net worth. Who you know makes you.
Repeat that. Your what?
Your network. Who you know is your net worth, how much you're worth.
My mom is definitely a spiritual person, and that's definitely my rock. Growing up in Newark, African-American male, single-parent household, a lot of stereotypes are already on me. Everything I'm going through, she's definitely that person I can go to, and then being community-oriented, I can definitely see myself going to her mentor, hey, Rev, I got this idea. What do you think of it? We may talk about it, we may come up with this great idea, and then it might not happen for me being the one who to carry it through. But just to realize that someone is there in my church that I can go to at whatever time and say, you know what, I really need to do this. How do you think we can make this happen? And just getting that feedback. To say I have a plan, just like Antone said, I know I don't. But what I will say is, I know I'm trying to make a difference, and the difference starts with one. So I do see myself branching out. The friends I actually asked to be my board members are actually spreading out to different cities, and they already are getting people asking them, hey, I see you're a board member of JAMGO, and I see what's going on in the schools in Newark. How can we bring this? So I've already been asked to help start something JAMGO related in Chicago, for example. I have somebody else coming to me in New York. So I do see the nonprofit spreading out. But like I said, because that solution to figuring out how these nonprofits are being funded, because I do see that is a weak support right now, I do also know that Betty Lee Jeans can also expand, because it's serving, the theme of Betty Lee Jeans is serving our community, mind, body, and soul food. Okay. So having those two ideas put together, branching out, I definitely see myself building a franchise with both.
Okay. My spiritual advisor is obviously my grandmother. She just embodies the woman that I want to be.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, even if
Jade's in the house too.
Yeah,
right
even if I'm half of whatever she is, I'll be happy because she's amazing. And
sweet.
Also, my 5-year plan, I honestly don't really have one. I just know that 2020, I'm quitting my corporate job. I say that because I honestly, and me and my grandma talked about this. I was telling her that sometimes, when I'm at work, I'm like, I could be, 8 hours I'm here, I could be utilizing this to, I don't know, do something to benefit myself and my art and get better. And that's just when you have an entrepreneurial mind and you're not meant to be working for someone in a corporate space. So I decided that I was I'm just going to make it happen. So that's a part of my plan. I haven't went super far out from there. But I know that 2020, I definitely, I have to just make something else work because I don't want to be stuck.
You just want to take a leap.
Yeah, and I've done it before. I was younger, so I didn't nearly have any bills and stuff like that. But I was that I'm going to save up and I'm going to do what I have to do to really get my art out there. And I'm so thankful for having friends like these that really, really support me in what I do. Because Antone, honestly, there's sometimes where I just text her an idea and she'll tell me the truth.
That is true. That's definitely
she'll be this is not, or this is. and she just always, I don't know, she's literally like always there. So, and same thing for him, like come out to my events and stuff. So when you have friends like that that are just really supportive in what you do, you just feel like you can do anything. So
I can vouch for each one, because every time I ask you guys to do something for me, it's done. I'm like, Antone, what do you like this idea? And I give you not in like 5 seconds, there's a paragraph on that idea. And I think she gets it a lot from her mom, because I bounce it off her mom too, and I can get it. And it just, and even Jamaal, I need this thing created for the kids at the church. And I'm like, God, the flyer, everything's hit in 5 minutes. Same with Imani, if I give her an idea, it comes. So I definitely know, you guys set yourself up. You're ready, making your mark training. You're going to quit your job at 2020, and I'm going to get mine.
she was so supportive the other day.
How do you balance your social life with work?
Sometimes I know I have to be to work the next morning, and I'll still be up till 2. Sometimes it's because I'm with friends. It's just like, I think that us, like millennials, I don't know how we do it, but we really do run off like no sleep. So no, I'm saying like when I'm at work, my coworkers who are not millennials, they're like, oh, I'm in bed by 9. And then me and my friends are like, what? So, I don't know. You'll know about 9 o'clock
when you get old. Trust me.
It was probably harder for me in the beginning with figuring out how to, because I'll be the type of person that'll work, not take any time for me, and then I'll crash like, oh God, the world is falling, what's going on? But I think that now I'm in a place where I can say the balance comes where you make new friends. I'll definitely say, I consider myself a friendly person, or, willing to get to meet somebody new. So if I take that on, I might, like, if she's off in Paris somewhere, and if she's doing her artwork and she has a show getting ready, hey, we gotta make it happen. There's a friend for every occasion. The balance comes naturally.
I agree.
This is my friend.
Oh,
She's all of our friends, but she knows just personally that I work while I'm out. I could be at a party, I'm sending an email.
True.
That's just me, because for my job, I'm on call basically 24/7. What industry doesn't stop, so you just have to always keep working. But also at this point, my friends kind of schedule stuff with me. Like, they're like, oh, put in your planner. And I'm like, okay, good, because they know how I function. So you got to find, like you said, find people, and both of them, find people who work like you, who are like you, like-minded, because your social life is never going to be a problem as long as they're all on the same, mindset.
Right.
The people.
Projects that's coming up. Imani, I want you to talk about your event this Friday at Tableau in Broadway. Let's talk about that a little bit. Betty Lee G Kitchen, you had the soft opening, you get ready to do your grand opening. And every time I look around, you're in a different city, different country with Damien and Mappy, and we're going to talk about, you just did a Labor Day big event with her and what's going on with Mappy. And then we're going to plug it in. So we're going to plug it in and start with Imani.
I have a gallery showing on Friday from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Tabula Rasa Gallery in Broadway. It'll have work featuring myself, another artist, Jessica Jordan, and another artist, Danielle. And we kind of wanted the show to be a little interactive, so we'll have an Instagram section where you can it's a board, you can take your cute Instagram photos, and then we really just want you to come out and connect with other creatives, especially if you're into music or art or just do anything creative or can connect in some sort of way with other people. You can come out and look at some art and talk to people.
Working with Betty Lee Jean's Kitchen, yes, I had I would say a successful soft opening.
August 31st,
yes,
right?
August 31st.
So
it was a poetry night,
okay.
And that's what I'm into. And that's actually how we're going to launch the grand opening. We'll have a nice, I'm working through inspections now. The first events to be published will be the grand opening weekend celebration. Once I pass inspection and I get that business license, I'm ready for it. Working towards it. That'll be what I'm doing, and then branching out and with the start of a new after school year. Actually Monday, going into the after school program again. So Jam Go and Focus will be partnering, going back to Lincoln for another year of extraordinary work with the kids. So that's what I'm working on.
Love it. And Miss.
Okay, we'll start with Mappy, because
You want to talk a little bit about Mappy to everybody? Really?
Oh yeah, you guys don't know about Mappy. Sorry. So Mappy she's from Paris, France. She is a soca, hip hop, and reggae violinist. Follow her on Instagram at @IamMappy, MAPY. No, but she's very dope. You should definitely check her out. She's been in the country for almost a year now. She lives in New York. Just this past Labor Day, she was on one of the carnival floats, so she performed in front of the judges and stuff. She was on the Ellen show with Pharrell and whoever else did the Mirror Challenge, sorry, but with them. And yeah, now we're just trying to build her brand. And she's already got a major following, so just trying, we want to get her verified. We want to get her to collab with the greats like Nicki Minaj and just different things. And she does so much, you can't put her in a box. And now in November, I pitched her to play on the Uber Soca cruise. So that's the all Soca cruise, all Caribbean music. Should be very fun. They're having a back-to-back 2 cruises going to Haiti. So we'll be going to that in November, and then to San Francisco, and then hopefully somewhere else. Yeah.
We're going to wrap up today's session with Stephanie Company. I would like to thank my guests for coming out today. I am so proud of you, all 3 of you. As one of our guests spoke about, that you guys are going to be amazing. And you're already starting. You haven't even lived, and you already know that you're not going to be the same as you was this year. You're going to elevate yourself to a higher level. And I'm so proud of you guys. And I'm also proud of you guys because even though you're going different places and doing so many things, you still have time for little old me. So I want to thank you. And as we do in every episode, we end with Stephanie's Company. We do a smooth, so we're going to do a smooth mwah, mwah. And I want to thank you all for coming and look forward for you to coming out to the next session of Stephanie's Company. Good night.
Oh, sorry.